Awesome. Okay, guys, thanks for tuning in. Today we have Ryann here, Ryann Post here, and go ahead and introduce yourself, Ryann, and go for it.
All right. Hey, everybody. My name's Ryann Post. I am 32 years old. I'm from Palm Beach County, Florida. Married. My wife and I live in Jupiter. No children. Got a couple of dogs that keep our hands full. And I'm a full-time professional realtor. I've been doing real estate almost 9 years now, residential real estate, and I love it. Eat real estate.
Awesome. How long have you been married for?
So I got married in January of 2019, so coming up on 2 years.
Oh, nice. Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. Cool. What are you drinking today?
On camera, just drinking good old Kirkland brand water, but
Yes.
On Fridays, if I'm stuck behind the computer and I'm not out on the road showing property, find a Jack Daniels by my side. That's my drink of choice. Drink responsibly, my friends.
Yes, definitely. Awesome. Okay, so you're drinking water. Great. We are just going to do some icebreakers. I'm wondering, are you a beach or mountains kind of guy?
So great question. I'm born and raised right here in South Florida. So all of the activities that I do are beach, outdoor, sunny South Florida related. I enjoy surfing, snorkeling, scuba diving, fishing, just cruising around on boats. But I do have some family out in Colorado. So anytime I get to go to the Rocky Mountains and take advantage of the cool weather in the mountains, I love to do so.
Awesome. I didn't know that. I didn't know you had family in Colorado. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. I know it's funny to ask you, are you beach or mountains? Because you live in Florida, right by the beach. How far are you from the beach, by the way?
If you live in the southeast coast of Florida, really anywhere east of the interstate, there's one interstate that runs through South Florida, I-95. I live east of I-95, so I've always lived, let's say, within less than 10 miles, 10-minute drive from the beach, Atlantic coast.
Very cool. Are you scuba? You say you scuba dive?
So I'm not certified in scuba. I do the free diving and snorkeling. So hold my breath, swim down as deep as I can, and we'll do a little bit of spear fishing and just kind of exploring the sea life down there without tanks. But I've got a couple of friends that are scuba certified and had the opportunity just for the first time in this past year, which I'm almost embarrassed to say that. I'm born and raised in Florida and I don't have a scuba certification. People are like, what? But had the opportunity with a little bit of training and somebody there that was experienced by my side with their equipment, was able to go down and scuba at about 30-40 feet locally here. It was pretty amazing to be underwater for almost 30 minutes without surfacing. It's a different world.
Yeah, it is. That's so cool. I don't know if you have any, I'm putting you on the spot. Do you have any embarrassing stories you want to share with us?
Oh, embarrassing stories.
Or any stories, childhood stories, anything at all?
This is an interview. It's going to go public. Can I pass? Can I pass?
Yeah. How about interesting story, like when you getting married, something you didn't expect. Where you're like, oh.
Interesting story getting married. Okay, so I remember on our wedding night. This is not an interesting story. It's kind of funny though. On our wedding night, we got married at a country club in Palm Beach Gardens, and outside just enjoying the nice weather. It was January, so a little bit cooler in South Florida, what we can call cool. And my wife's father had asked me, he's like, oh, well, are you gonna carry your new wife over the threshold? And I feel like I've heard many figures of speech, but I've never heard that figure of speech in the context that he intended it to be. So I said, oh, carry her over the threshold. You mean to orgasm? I said this to her father on the wedding night. And of course, I had probably a few too many Jack Daniels that night, but the circle of friends and family that heard it within earshot around us just started laughing at us hysterically. And it's something that, in the past 2 years gets brought up occasionally. And I don't know if I'll ever live that down.
That's really funny.
I guess he meant carry her over the threshold, into the house. Yeah, and I think
yeah, when you carry someone, yeah.
But don't be mistaken. I am a proper gentleman.
No, I get you. Yeah. Oh my god! I mean, it's your wife. You're like, yeah, it's my wife.
I think I'm in the family after that comment. Really, fast paced.
Love that. That's awesome. Let's talk about you growing up, high school. Where did you said you grew up in Florida?
I did. So I went to elementary, middle school, high school, all in Palm Beach County, northern Palm Beach County. So really my entire childhood or adolescent life up until I was 18 have been in Jupiter, Palm Beach Gardens, Tequesta, Florida. I've watched it really evolve over the last, couple decades from being a really small town with not a lot of traffic lights, a lot of farmland, low population, and just watching it evolve has been pretty crazy, pretty magical. But after at 18 years old, I graduated high school. I had the opportunity to go to Florida State University, so moved up to Tallahassee, North Florida, and did 4 years there. I studied finance and marketing, FSU alumni. Go Noles.
There we go.
Then, after 4 years in Tallahassee, made the decision to come back down to Palm Beach County. Got into real estate pretty quickly upon graduating with my undergrad, and it's been a great journey. It's been a great run. Even as of recently, in the last few years, I went back to school and I got my MBA at FAU. Just completed that December of 2019. So I love it here.
Congrats. That's great.
Yeah, I love Palm Beach County. If for those that have never been, highly recommend coming and visiting. It's they say that San Diego is one of the most beautiful places in the United States. I've been. I can say with conviction, it is. But I would think that Jupiter, Florida, West Palm Beach County, the right spots. It's like the San Diego of the East Coast. I mean, you're not getting a better experience or lifestyle and climate than here.
Wow, I didn't know that. Okay, that's like some really high. It's at a high bar, high level. Because San Diego is absolutely, it's beautiful. It's amazing. I always say it's a nicer LA. It's a nicer. It's without all the bad stuff from LA. But that's really cool. Did you do any sports growing up in high school?
Growing up, I played for high school sports. I tried playing football my freshman year of high school. I did play football. The high school I went to, Dwyer High School, had a very elevated athletics program. I mean, a couple of state championships or runners up. So I realized very quickly, being an average football player at best, I was a wide receiver and a defensive back. My skill and athletic ability in football was not really on par with the program that they had. So I transitioned my sophomore, junior, and senior year, and I played lacrosse. I played lacrosse in high school. I wrestled for 1 year in high school, and I even tried to play a little bit of college lacrosse at FSU. But it's a very intense and time-involved program when you're playing at the collegiate level. So did it for 1 year, played a little bit in the club, and then just continued with my studies.
Yeah, no, I totally hear that. What position did you play in lacrosse?
So I was a midfielder. Sure. And if you know anything about lacrosse, there's defense, midfield, and attack. So yeah, it's a great sport. It's almost like field hockey is the best way to explain it.
Okay. I know it's more of an East Coast thing rather than the West Coast. We don't have it so much. It's not a thing, but that's awesome.
Yeah, no, a lot of fun.
It always looked really cool. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Oh yeah.
So So studying finance in college and then jumping, like, what was that transition into real estate like in terms of, was it like a quick transition, or what was the thing that pushed you over the edge of like, you're like, you know what, I'm going to go in real estate?
Right. No, that's a great question. So, in undergrad, I studied finance and marketing, and I was a business major. I think, I've heard this growing up and, mentoring some of the youth at my church. I always the question always arises. It's like, what do you want to do with your life? What do you want to be when you grow up? You got to choose something and stick with it, pick a path. And even throughout college, after undergrad, it's like I chose to go the business route because I felt like there was a lot of skills to be learned and just a broad application. So how I ended up in real estate was I graduated from Florida State. I was 22 years old. I was testing out the waters of the job market. And I realized after a couple months of applying and interviewing, I wasn't really satisfied with the opportunities that were present, opportunities as a whole, the entry level, the starting salary. And I knew that really in order to develop my skills personally, professionally, soft skills, technical skills, and be able to achieve a healthy income, sales would, I thought that it was worth the risk. And that's how I got into real estate, and I'm glad that I did.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's cool. I love that. You have a lot of real estate agents, they have the entrepreneurial kind of spirit of like, you know what, like I want a little bit more, rather than just being at a typical job. Nothing wrong with a typical job. Honestly, I think it's whatever fit is a better fit for the person, and stuff. And you mentioned church. What church is it that you attend?
So I attend a church. It's one of the larger churches in northern Palm Beach County. I think they just opened their 11th or 12th location, but it has roots for many, many years, decades, in fact. It's called Christ Fellowship, and they've got a heavy presence and outreach here in South Florida, really networked all throughout the country, and we do a lot of missionary work and programs throughout the world. So I was raised Christian, go to church, mostly because my parents groomed me or encouraged me to be involved in my religion and Christianity. And then after college, there was a time where I strayed away from it, maybe a little bit, but my wife is very devoted in her faith and kind of pulled me back into it. And in the last 2 or 3 years, I've really been more involved in the church, more than going to a building on Sundays and praying and worshiping. We volunteer every Wednesday night. We do high school youth leadership and ministry. We do community revitalization out in Belglade, food drives. It's really rewarding to give back and have that sense of gratitude. And I believe that it's kind of made me a better man in every area of life.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's awesome. Very cool. We'll throw a map of, or like where the church is at. And you said, say it again, Christ.
It's Christ Fellowship in Palm Beach Gardens, and it's their main location. A lot of people say, oh, that's the big church. Like, if we're going to go to a church, we don't want to go to a church where there's like hundreds and hundreds of people that attend it at one service. And there's a saying that I heard there, and now that I've been really more involved, they say, oh, well, it's a big church, but it's a small family. And the more involved you get, you recognize the faces, the names, and their volunteer base is definitely a family. And I'm just grateful to be a part of it and involved.
Yeah, that's so cool. Excellent. It's good to give back, like 100%. Like, you see life in a different capacity. Where you're like, oh my God, like it changes your perspective. Absolutely. How is it like, so you said you help high schoolers?
Yeah, so I do youth ministry, and I lead the 11th and 12th grade men's group or boys group. So,
nice.
It's really that pivotal age. I remember how I was in 11th and 12th grade, and I was like, oh my goodness, like these boys need a role model, a mentor.
Yeah. Yes.
And,
yes.
they all go to different high schools, and they come together to, share in their faith and optimism and spirituality. And, it's just great. We have really deep conversations about topics that, they maybe feel more comfortable talking to a stranger was a stranger, but after weeks and weeks, months, years of being with the same group, it's a pretty tight bond that we have.
That's so cool. That's awesome. That's really rewarding. That's great. And you'll see them, grow up and do other stuff, and it's like just to be able to impact, and be a part of that journey. That's super cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad to be a part of it.
Yeah. So you mentioned mentors. Have you had any mentors in like real estate in your journey?
Yeah, I would absolutely say so. So I've, in the 8 or 9 years I've been licensed, I've been with 3 different real estate companies. The first real estate company I joined was a boutique firm in downtown West Palm Beach, Clematis Street, if you're familiar with the area. And, it was one single office with about 20 to 25 agents. It was the broker that owned the company was a bartender that I worked alongside. I had a little side job. This is at 22, 23 years old. And, he took me under his wing and he said, I think you'd be great at this. I'll help sponsor you, get you licensed, pay for your state exam. And I worked for him for about a year. Learned a ton working under him and with his team. I was a very young, moldable mind. I was the youngest in the office. A lot of the agents had, 8, 10, 15, 20 plus years experience. It was a great learning experience to get involved in the business. I realized after a year, there might be a better fit or another opportunity for me to learn. So I ended up I moved out to Houston, Texas in 2013, 2014. Oh, wow. And I took an opportunity working with Keller Williams in downtown Houston. It's called Keller Williams Metropolitan Office. So I went from an office with 20 to 25 agents at a boutique firm in downtown West Palm to a single office with almost 500 agents in downtown Houston, Texas. And I worked for a big producer out there that had a team built under him. One role that I held focused on buyers. I was a buyer's specialist and a seller's specialist. Got a lot of exposure and work on contracts and just the different components and timelines that really go into a real estate transaction. So it was a great learning experience. And now, as I'm back in Florida, moved back from Texas, I was out there for a little under 18 months. And I now have my license with a brokerage. It's Sutter & Nugent Real Estate. It is a 3rd generation real estate family in Palm Beach County. We just opened our 5th office. We have offices in Palm Beach Gardens, Lantana, Delray Beach, Boca Raton. And I got in with this office when I was just returned from Texas. So this was back in 2015. And the owner of the company, the broker, is a guy that I went to Florida State with. So he's my age. He's 32 years old. I would say 75, 80% of the agents maybe are within their age range of, mid 20s to late 30s. And then there's, a good percentage, maybe a quarter or a third of the agents are really those senior, seasoned, tenured agents. They're a little later in their career. But what I love about this brokerage that I'm with now is really just the professionalism, the ethics, the tenacity, and most of all is really the energy and the teamwork. To be surrounded with other agents that are on par with my time and tenure in the career, that have that energy, that have that intensity, and we all work together as a team. As a brokerage, we've got, when I started, we had one office, 25, 30 agents. In 5 years, we've grown to 5 offices, about 140 to 160 agents. And then in 2019, we sold just over 300 million in Palm Beach County real estate. It's super rewarding, great energy, and there's a lot of experience and camaraderie that helps elevate.
Wow, that's so cool. You have like different experience working at different brokers. So like from the small to, and the name of the small one again, what was it? The small broker? The first one.
The boutique one is Logan Realty, and that's in West Palm Beach, downtown West Palm Beach on Clematis. And then I worked with a Keller Williams in Houston, and now the brokerage I'm with, it's Sutter and Nugent.
Excellent. So what makes a good broker? Like, what makes a good, like, because you've seen 3 different ones now. Like, what's the secret sauce? Like in that you think like makes a good, yeah. What do you think?
So what really makes this broker stand out for me, and I've kind of come to the conclusion of the realization that I think it would be very tough for me to leave this brokerage unless or until I decided to become a broker myself and get my broker's license. But what I really enjoy about working with Sutter and Nugent is it's really all about the relationship. I had a friendship throughout college. He went to a rival high school of mine, but he was an acquaintance in high school. I've known my broker for many, many years. He comes from a real estate family. His parents, grandparents, aunts, and uncles, all Palm Beach County realtors. So the experience is there. But what I really like about what makes this broker really set apart is just his willingness to invest in his agents, whether it's through support, education, making himself accessible, kind of the structure that he's built his office. There's the 80-20 rule. They say that 20% of the agents do 80% of the production. Well, the 20% of the top agents at our company are really motivated and willing to invest their time in helping new agents learn the business. We do a lot of joint work, education on contracts, and that's really what makes all the difference to me. Is you can only be as good as those that you surround yourself with and the support that you get. There were a lot of factors when I first got into the business. It was a little overwhelming. It's like, oh, the commission split is so important, and what kind of resources, education resources, am I going to pay a desk fee? Is there education courses? Are you going to show, like, am I going to have somebody to mentor me and do joint work? And at the end of the day, looking at the big picture, I think that having that mentorship, that camaraderie, that teamwork, and just surrounding yourself with other agents and a broker that's willing to give their time and invest in you is the most important factor that I've found to growing my career.
That's awesome. Okay. I like that. I have a follow-up question. What's the reason of like why you continue? Like what drives you? Like what inspires you?
So what I really love about real estate, and I've in the 8 or 9 years that I've done real estate, there's been periods or episodes where I've done real estate full time and only real estate, and then there's been stints where I've taken, like, say, a corporate sales position, working for a company, doing something a little bit more structured, a little bit more stable as far as income goes. It's real estate is not for the faint of heart. It certainly is a roller coaster ride. People ask me, oh, well, if I get a real estate license, what can I expect to make in my first year if I work hard? There's real estate agents that work hard and in their first year can struggle to make $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, struggle and work hard to make that amount of money. And then there's real estate agents on our team that within their first year or two, they can hit multi-million dollars in production and go well into the 6-figure plus earnings and more, exponentially more within the first year or few in the business. So what I enjoy about real estate is really it has that entrepreneurial sense or spirit. You've got flexibility to multitask, create your own schedule, create your own lifestyle, your means. It's up to you and only you and your team. What you put in is what you get out. But what drives me and what I love about this industry is the tangibility of being able to help people. The reward at the end, the job well done, is the commission, of course. But you don't get into this business just to chase commissions. You get in this business to, help solve a problem, help neighbor Johnny that's looking for a house. Well, there's a million agents that are licensed in South Florida, but who's going to help neighbor Johnny get the best house at the best price, make sure that the transaction flows smoothly, and make it a positive experience that they're willing to share about. I mean, it's as simple as that. And the more people you help, the more referrals you get, the bigger your network naturally grows. So, if I have the opportunity to help 15, 25, 40 people in a year, the more people that I get to help transition in their home buying dreams and experience, the more successful I measure myself.
Yeah, no, I love that. Like it's about the contribution that you make. I love that. Yeah. So what's it like working with you, like in terms of communication, things like that?
So what's it like working with me?
Yeah.
Like Brian, Brian and I met. Brian and I met a couple of months ago. We do some marketing work in the real estate industry together, and Brian, owner of LA Data Nerds, has been super, super beneficial in helping me grow my business. It's how do you stand out? How do you get leads? How do you add value? Brian has helped me really, identify different avenues that are able to get me both buyer and seller leads. The return on investment on it has been great, but your question again, Brian, was, I'm sorry.
I appreciate that endorsement. I was asking, what's it like working with you?
So I would say, what's it like working with me? I feel that I'm very direct. Promptness and availability, open communication. Yep. I tell people I wake up early, I go to bed late.
Yeah, that's true.
Never hesitate to call me, text me. I am always here. My phone is always on. Whatever it takes to get the deal done and make sure that I am here as your agent.
Mm-hmm.
That's the promise that I make, and really the intensity that I deliver. I think when I say intensity, people might say, "Oh, what's it like working with you?" I'm very, very driven. I'm very intentful and purposeful. I can be intense at times, but I feel that any agent that's out for their client's best interest, trying to find them the best deal, show them the most properties or the right properties, negotiate them the best terms. There is a certain level of, call it intensity, call it drive or personality that goes along with it. But, I only hope to give my clients the best, honest, ethical, and attentive experience that I can provide. That's always my goal.
That's good. That's awesome. I love that. Yeah, and you are very available by text, email, phone. Definitely vouch for that. Yeah, absolutely. So I take it you're more extroverted, for sure.
Maybe a little.
Just a tad. I don't know, like just a wild guess. I love this question because I think it's so interesting. So, if I gave you a voucher and it's $10,000, and you have to invest it in your real estate business. You can't pocket the difference. Like, it's either you spend it or you lose it. What would you spend it on in your real estate business?
Spend it all in one place, or am I allowed to diversify?
Oh yeah, you can diversify it.
So I think that I've learned this life in general through my background in finance. I don't think there's a silver bullet or a one avenue or niche that you could take. You really got to take some from experience. Takes a little bit of trial and error, remaining open-minded to listening to a new opportunity that might help grow your business. Going to the traditional means, I thought it was crazy, knocking on doors, going around canvassing a neighborhood and knocking on doors to introduce myself as a realtor. It's one of the more effective ways, but really, if I could diversify and pick a couple of things that if I had $10,000 to invest in marketing, how would I use it? I think it would be a blend of leveraging social media marketing. I think that where technology is right now, how many people rely on the social media aspect, whether it's a website, Facebook, Instagram, to really leverage the social media marketing and advertising is a huge component. Also, farming communities, picking a couple of neighborhoods locally, targeting those through direct mailing flyers. Also, door knocking, attending networking events. Those are very low cost. They just take time. Just kind of going out there, and whether you're partnering with an agency, LA Data Nerds, Brian's company, has been huge to me through some of their marketing techniques, the Facebook advertising, the automation. It's not a one size fits all. It's it's very tailored to my individual needs as an agent, and structured and priced accordingly. But you have to delegate. That's one thing that I've learned is as much as I want to be in control and I want to try to do everything under the sun to help build my empire, as I grow, as I try to get at least 10 to 15, 20 meetings per week, I try to make 50, 40, 50, 60, sometimes 100 phone calls in a day. I try to manage my social media advertising, manage my website, the Facebook posts, the Instagram posts. It's like, believe me, I've tested my limits. I know what it feels like to sleep on average 5-6 hours a night. I've lived it for a couple of years, but still becomes to a point where as you grow, it's so important to build the right team and delegate. So if I had $10,000 to spend in marketing, I would make sure that I'm building the right team around me and delegating my money appropriately.
Yeah, I love that. Like trying a little bit of everything. Yeah. That's so good. To conclude, do you have any funny real estate stories, or like any interesting real estate stories, or like something you had no idea that was going to happen, or like you could never predict, or you could never like imagine, or it's like, wow, that happened?
One that comes to mind that's a pretty short and sweet story is so I was showing properties. This happened a couple of years ago, and some of these communities, especially in like the townhouse condo communities, they'll have these lock boxes and Supras all set up in one centralized area. And if you're showing multiple units in the community, multiple properties, you're trying to get in these combo lock boxes, pull multiple keys at once, put them in Ziploc bags with sticky notes so you know which one goes back in which lock box. I mean, madness.
Oh no.
I remember I was showing a property, and while showing the property, I set the key. We got inside, we got access to a condo or a townhouse. I put the key down on the countertop, and it was a countertop that's like that 90s, early 2000s granite, just very busy. And the key blended it. It became invisible. I swear that the key became invisible. And I'm done showing the property. I'm ready to lock up. We have a showing schedule. And all of a sudden I was like, where's this key? Where's this key? I held my client, please be patient with me. I'll be out in a few minutes. And after looking for this key for 20, 30 minutes,
oh wow!
I told my client, listen, if it's okay with you, we'll pick back up in a little bit later today, or I'm gonna have to reschedule some of these showings. We're so embarrassed. I couldn't lock the property. I called the listing agent. Oh my gosh! So I mean, I could sit here for hours and tell you stories. Some that are funny, some that are heartbreaking, some that break the bank account. But
oh man,
one thing's for sure: no 2 days the same. It's a wild ride, a wild adventure and journey, and I love real estate. I wouldn't have it any other way.
So did you find?
I did find the key.
Did you find the key after?
Found the key.
Okay, good.
I wanted to hit my head into a wall or that granite countertop, man. It was a bit frustrating. It's an understatement.
Man. And the house was like probably pretty cleared out, right? It's pretty empty.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's no place that I could have hidden this key.
Right.
It was driving me nuts.
Oh man, sometimes that's just how it goes. Yeah.
Don't lose your mind.
But you kept your composure. I like that. It sounds like you're like, hey, like,
I tried.
All's well. Yeah, we're good.
I can't make any promises, but I tried really hard. The agent, the client probably was like, oh my God, we got to find another realtor. This guy's nuts. Probably, but hey, can't win them all.
You can't win them all, no. I love that. I love that story. That's good. Do you have one more story? I'm like, you have good stories. Anything else so far? The stories.
Yeah, no, I know that any of my other stories are just gonna make everybody else laugh, make me cry. So I'll pass on the other stories. But Brian,
oh my gosh,
man, I really appreciate the friendship that we've built, the business partnership that we have. Yeah. I know I just met you a few months ago, but what you're doing is awesome with LA Data Nerds within the real estate industry. A little bit about Brian's company. Brian owns a company. He just kind of took the leap of faith and started his own business, entrepreneurial spirit, just a brilliant mind. He does Facebook marketing for real estate agents, and he's got some great tools, platforms that he's built out. He's got a team that supports him, and the return on investment is pretty insane. He just ran a campaign for me on a couple of properties to generate buyer leads. I got some really solid leads back from it. I was able to convert a couple of these leads. I've taken them out in showings in the last few weeks. It's Brian and I will definitely continue to build off of the business partnership that we have in the future. If you're looking for the right partners, I encourage you to give them a look. It's LA Data Nerds. Brian's the man. And I'm super excited for 2020, 2021. And,
yes.
Just to see what's next.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you so much, Ryan. And you've been awesome working with as well. It's been great. Like you taking the leap of faith with me and trying it out and seeing that it works and stuff. So it was huge for us. It was just like you trusting us and things working out. So, and us being able to work together.
Well, what's crazy is like, Brian, I know every person watching this video and every realtor can relate. Like on social media, you get all this outreach. You get constant outreach from people that are trying to partner with you to sell you their services. Mm-hmm. And it's like, how do you know which one to take the 5 or 10 minutes, 15 minutes to take the meeting? Mm-hmm. Let them explain what they do, how they do it. Just listen to them. If I took every meeting, I'd be spending 20, 30, 40 hours a week listening to different ideas. But there was something about you, your approach, your candidness. You captured my attention. I gave you the 15 minutes for the meeting. You broke down your program, your resources, your tools, the structure, and at the end of the day, I'm on the East Coast. I'm in Palm Beach County, Florida. You're out in LA, California. I wouldn't very quickly or willingly send, pay an invoice for a couple $100 for what I thought the return on investment would be. Could he hold up to what he's telling me he could do? I can say with conviction that couple $100 was very well spent. There's no doubt that we will continue to do business together, and I picked the right partner. You win some, you lose some. I'm definitely winning from working with LA Data Nerds, so I appreciate what we've got going.
Excellent. Yes, and I look forward to working with you for a long time. So
awesome. Ryan, I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Yes.
Happy Friday.
Yeah,
Enjoy
happy
your
Friday.
weekend.
Yes.
And look forward to talking soon.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the interview again, Ryan. Cool.
All right, man.
Take care.